day 36 in lockdown. This is day 3 of level 3. Nothing's really changed very much. We went for a bit of a drive to do a click and collect yesterday. That was all very exciting, and there was a lot of chatter around the table about actually leaving the house and having, seeing the world a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty much the same here in New Zealand. So this morning we finally had our windscreen guy come out, and he took the windscreen out, and it's probably best he did. Check that out. That is so rusty. I haven't poked and prodded yet. I just want to show you first before I started. I don't think we're going to have too much holes, but that lip is a bit of a bother. And the really good news is there's nothing up the top, and I strongly suspected there was something up the top above the driver. Looked like there may have been, but there isn't. So kind of good news. Glad we're getting it done, and I'll get on with it and see what it takes to fix it. Alright, we're part way through. I've cleaned up that lip, and some of the stone chips I've sanded back. I've hammered out that dent a little bit, but that'll need filler. I've put gaffer tape around the windscreen washer nozzles and things because they're too hard to get out, because we can't get, obviously from the other side because of the dash, the way it sits in these vehicles. And I've cleaned up that edge as best as I dare. There's actually, I don't know if we can get it, but there's 3 layers of metal in there, and the rust is in between those bits of metal, and I can't get behind there where there's in that layer behind. So I've banged it out as best I can, but you can see here that's actually peeled all the way back, and if I go back too much more, it'll be a massive big hole. We did have 1 hole, that's it, it's the only one, so I was pretty pleased about that, but that lip was really gnarly. So what I'm going to do now is just put a little bit of a rust inhibitor, a rust converter on it, and hopefully that'll seep down into the edges there, into the gaps, and treat it a little bit where I can't see, where I can't do any more. And then I'll come back and start bogging, getting it shaped up. I've put the rust converter on, and we've left it overnight for best results, and as you can see, it's turned it all black, and it's looking pretty good. It's I've wiped it down with a brush into all those gaps, and you can't even almost pick that. It's sealed it up nicely, and it's all down in there. So now I've just got to clean it up and shape it a bit better with some bog. I've done a little bit of bog work down here, so that's all nice and smooth, ready for primer. A couple of dents up here, they're all done and smooth. So clean up that lip, bit of hand sanding, mask her up, and get a bit of primer on. Moving right along. We're all primed, repaired, and ready to prep up for a bit of paint work. I did pull back this plastic, and while it was still wet, and I still had some primer, and I got a brush in and brushed in behind there, and tried to drip it in the crack as well, trying to coat it as much as I could. So I'm just waiting for this weather. It's a bit cloudy, it's not cold, it's a bit cool, it could be a little bit warmer. So I'm just going to give it another hour or two and see if we get a little bit of a bit more heat and a bit more sun this afternoon. The winds drop right off, so conditions are good. Just hope they hold out. In the meantime, I think I might go and do a little bit of cooking or something. Well, there we are. It has 3 coats of white on it, and it's ready to go. And as you can see from the video, it's very dark, so I was running pretty blind in here. It was windy outside, far too windy, so I poked the nose into my spray booth in the shed and masked up around it. You can see the wind now blowing all that plastic, which has been doing the whole time, and we got a nice big leaf from somewhere land in the bonnet on my last coat, which was a bit of a bugger. And rain is going to be here tomorrow, so we'll be able to, it'll be dry, which will be great, and we'll be all set to put the screen in a couple of days. So happy days, happy days.